everybody. So today we were just going to chat about some footwear and sort of what can impact your choices of footwear. We have Catherine here, our podiatrist that works in the clinic. We have Sarah here, who is our foot health specialist, and myself, Bridget, who is a sports therapist. So we're very lucky. There's three of us that deal with feet and lower limb problems for anyone that comes into the clinic. So what do we mainly see? Well, people kind of come in asking for advice on footwear. So mainly for myself, I mean, I see a lot of people asking about running and trainers and the advice on trainers. I tend to look at people running, and then I could advise what they should be going to buy because they might need some support if they're for example, rolling in. I don't know, Catherine, what kind of who you generally see, what your population is like, and what footwear problems people ask for.
So I see a wide variety. I see people doing all kinds of sports and people that don't do sports. I always recommend sport-specific footwear. So if you're doing tennis, for example, buy a tennis shoe rather than a running shoe, because each shoe gives different properties for support. So they are designed in a specific way to help you be your best at that sport. So in terms of kind of sports footwear, I always look at what activity they're doing, if they have any restrictions, if they need anything specific in terms of insoles, orthotics, or just a different type of trainer. And for the general population, generally the biggest thing I say is comfort is key. If your shoes are causing you discomfort, they're probably not the right shoes.
Yeah, I suppose I think I see that with trainers as well. So some people might come in and I'll suggest a different type of trainer, but mostly it's about comfort. I guess you see also people asking about, do you see anything with sandals and the summer kind of flip-flop wear?
Summer, yeah, people have toe deformities that can impact what kind of shoes they wear as well, and if they're wide enough, they can cause little hard skin on the outside of their shoe and things like that.
So I'm guessing you treat then the hard skin, you know, for example, I'm guessing things like corns and verrucas maybe that people might struggle with.
Yeah, if they're causing pain, then they can impact everything else as well.
Of course, Sarah and I are in the unique position that we treat problems like corns and verrucas, which will change your gait and may influence your footwear. But actually, a lot of the times it is footwear that will be causing a lot of the problems that they're getting in the first place. So it's very difficult to retrain people's ideas on their footwear and what they want to wear. It's very difficult unless you've got someone that is actively sporty and looking to improve. Your general day-to-day footwear, people like what they like and they don't want to change it necessarily.
I guess you have to kind of like meet halfway and be happy with what you want to wear, but maybe just make little adaptations. I guess I also see obviously people that just need to strengthen. So, you know, their footwear may be enhanced by actually just strengthening their glutes, for example, to help them become more efficient and reduce their chance of injuries. So I suppose a lot of the time I look at it from maybe a whole chain perspective rather than just the feet.
This is where we cross over quite a lot, because we'll see people coming in that may have an issue that is showing itself in their feet, such as getting plantar fasciitis or something like that. But when you look at them, it may actually be that the initiating issue is further up. They may have weak glutes or a hip issue or something like that that is altering their gait and then causing the foot problem. So this is where, you know, a foot problem isn't always just a foot problem, and we kind of have to.
That's where I'm so lucky, I suppose, having you two, because it means that if I can treat somebody and give rehab exercises for a certain amount of time, and then maybe that's not quite doing the job, then at least I know that I can refer to you and they can get extra support if needed, which is great. It's the fab when it's a multidisciplinary team, so really enjoyable. Anything else that you'd like to add into orthotics, maybe?
Just having a support in the shoe can also help with the gait. And they don't have to be really expensive. You don't have to have them for a long time. And so, as you were saying with rehab, you can pop something in the shoe which just alters the position of the foot slightly to help with the strengthening and the rehab until they are strong enough, and then we can just reduce it down and maybe get rid of them altogether.
Yeah, I guess that's perfect for sort of aiding my work, because at least then whilst they're doing the rehab, obviously strengthening does take time, it does take a few months, and within that time they're getting support from maybe an orthotic whilst they get stronger, and then once their strength has got a lot better, we can take away maybe the orthotics.
I think people have a misconception around orthotics that once you get them you have to wear them forever and they're hugely expensive. I try to only use them as needed, so if they're needed for part of a rehabilitation, then I'll give them kind of more of an off-the-shelf kind of orthotic, or even just a heel raise like you have in front of you. Something to just offload those painful structures, basically. Some people will need orthotics long term, and that's another thing you have to think about with footwear as well, because not all footwear is going to accommodate orthotics, and again, you may have to get people changing up their shoes to actually accommodate orthotics and insoles, even if it's short term. You know, they may have to start wearing different shoes just to accommodate that.
Yeah. And I guess you can use, obviously these people, if they don't know, if they're heel lifts, that I guess is for leg length difference, if people need a bit of help with, if they've got different leg lengths.
Yeah, or even just offloading Achilles tendinopathies and things like that. Any structure that's kind of put under stress, if we can reduce that stress by just lifting the heel up and taking that pressure off those structures, then that can be massively beneficial.
Yeah.
But again, you know, you've got to incorporate it into footwear, and that's always the trickiest part with orthotics.
I know, we're creatures of habit.
We are.
Okay, well I think that's probably everything for today. And if you've obviously got any questions, then please just fire them through to the team here, and we're always happy to answer anything for you. And otherwise, we'll hopefully see you next month.